Hello, this is Courtney from the Purple Pinup Guru Panache Plaza at WordPress.com website. And I am doing a hybrid series on Free Comic Book Day 2025 using a blog for more detailed things like listing the title of the book and publisher, artists, writers, whatever creative talent involved in the book. And I'm doing a video portion detailing the insides of the book and whatever public opinion I have about it. This is like my like seventh or eighth year doing this, reviewing all the Free Comic Book Day editions, and I have a lot of fun doing it. And like I say, every Free Comic Book Day when I do a pile, it's you never know it's gonna come up in the pile. One book may be a Japanese manga book. Next maybe an excerpt from a children's graphic novel, or maybe superhero saga, or a sword and sorcery thing. So when I put the pile in alphabetical order, it's you cover quite a range of books. So I'm doing this is like my third try doing this video because I had a brain fart doing the last one, and I was about to put the video up on there, and I reviewed it. I said, I can't put this up. This is something that I didn't say right in it, and it's got to come down. So hopefully these is the permanent edition. So and another thing I would like to talk about is some certain books were not released this year due to the bankruptcy snafu between Diamond and several publishers. As you know, Diamond suffered some bankruptcy. They're going through some bankruptcy, and some publishers are now not shipping with them anymore, and therefore the result, some 2 or 3 companies canceled their books. But I heard now that someone's bought the Diamond Comics, and hopefully they'll get to keep the trademark of Free Comic Book Day, since Diamond were the ones who developed the logo. And some of the books that were missing this year were there were 3 books from Paper Cuts. They were usually Paper Cuts puts out some good quality all the ages entertainment. And this year would have been no exception. They would have 3 books out, and one would have been the Phineas and Ferb book. That was canceled. The next were 2 ones that were a Flash Gordon Adventures, which would have been done by Art Baltazar. He had done 3 Free Comic Book Day editions this summer. And this one would have been Hero, Bear, and the Kid. I was kind of looking forward to reading this because I kind of like this strip. I know I've seen it before in another edition somewhere. There were some other books that were canceled, and I'll show you another one. Valiant / Alien Books had to cancel their slash quote unquote Marvel Zombies line of books. Each comic book company's been getting into this zombie bandwagon. It's kind of a little bit like overkill, pardon the pun. Another one would have been Lost Marvels for Fantagraphics. Now, Fantagraphics, they did a comic book joint. They collaborated with Marvel on last year's book, which was a Atlas Comics reprint book covering those 1950 stories that Stan Lee wrote with Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby and other like EC artists. It was an interesting book, and I seen the book out there, thumb through it, and wish I had the money to buy it at the time, which I didn't. But they were going to do another series of hardcover collections of Marvel books, Marvel comics that were never been reprinted before in hardcover form, and they would have been Tower of Shadows and Howard Chaykin's Dominic Fortune, and I forget what the other one was. But I've heard that the Tower of Shadows book hardcover collection is out, and I heard people say wonderful things about it. Hopefully, I'll latch onto a copy myself. Another one was Princess Guinevere and King Arthur crossover, which is some sort of, looks like to be an anime related adventure, and I don't think Stitch came out. I have to make sure. Okay, so on to the what I'm covering this week. There are 10 books covered this week. I was late with delivery on a couple of the books. There are 3 books that were missing, and they happen to be fit into this week's pile in alphabetical order or so. I was supposed to do this book last week. It is called Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's Champion, written in collaboration with Raymond Opsfield and illustrated by Ed LaRouche. I'm pronouncing that name. Anyways, I thought this was a long read. It was a long, detailed read. It took me maybe 20-25 minutes to read. Mainly deals with this basketball star, high school basketball star. He's on the verge of being awarding a scholarship for either a college or maybe in pro team itself. But he's a little bit of a rapscallion. And so to invoke his team spirit, he goes to a rival high school, or a rival team's high school, and just does graffitis the place all over. And he got caught. And he's about to be kicked off the team, and what happened? But the coach knows he's a big admirer of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the GOAT, greatest of all time. You kids and your acronyms. I know you admire him so much and everything, but I want you to know what he's done beyond the life of basketball. And I want you to give me an essay of Kareem Jabbar's greatest accomplishments outside of basketball. And it just turns out they took some liberties of going through some Wikipedia, because I know that here. So one of the big things that Abdul-Jabbar he's did outside, other than being a film or movie writer and done some acting and stuff, and he's done some stuff for his local community. But he was also awarded the Double Helix Medal for his work in raising awareness for cancer research. And he also received an honorary degree from New York Institute of Technology. And he was also awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by outgoing U.S. President Barack Obama. And nominated for Primetime Emmy Awards for his voice work on documentaries and such. So this kid's got a lot to process here. And one of the things I had a little ombrage with is that they mentioned Black Lives Matter in this whole thing. And I'm not fully on board with that because of what happened out here locally in Los Angeles. Over the death of George Floyd out in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and my view on that is it happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and therefore it should have been a localized Minneapolis, Minnesota issue, just like it was when Rodney King was beaten in Los Angeles, and the city of Los Angeles rioted. Nowhere else rioted back across the country, but a whole country went ape crap all over this thing. And I'm sorry, it was a local issue. I'm glad to see that justice was done and such. And but we shouldn't have not went all berserk over this whole thing. It was during the pandemic, and the reason why I take it so personally, because my area where I work in the Fairfax district of Los Angeles was nearly destroyed in the process, including my favorite place of all places, Farmers Market, which a big, big brouhaha happened over there, where protesters and cops mixed it up, and was not happy about that. So there's this is also another book that he's coming out with. So anyway, this was a great read. 10 Speed Press, who put this one out, is very known for doing unique products. I was really impressed by those Jack Kirby and Stan Lee biography comics that Tom Scaglioli, I hope I pronounced that right, did, and I latched onto them when I saw them in Barnes and Noble, and hopefully this will inspire some people to pick up the graphic novel that this is excerpt from. So next up in the queue, Conan, Scourge of the Serpent, and Titan Comics is just hitting it out of the park with these Conan books. I think these are the best Conan adaptations I've ever seen since Marvel lost the license the first time. Marvel brought back the license the second time. They just went crazy overboard with it by merging him with the Marvel universe itself. Place him in the Avengers and all that stuff, and that was not my cup of tea. I'm glad to see that era gone with. Dark Horse was blah too when they did with the book. Anyway, this is the writer Jim Zub, who handles mostly the color comic book. There's also a companion title to this called Conan Savage Sword of Conan, which is breathtaking, beautiful, black and white book. And this is sort of a crossover event, crossing over with the Howard verse, and where the color characters that Robert E. Howard created during his lifetime, called King Kull and Solomon Kane, Dark Agnes, and whatever. There's just too many to name off. But anyway, they're gonna team up with Conan once again, like they did in last year's event, Battle of the Blackstone, which I haven't read yet. It's in my queue. But I read last year's Free Comic Book Day edition, so I got a small idea what it's about. But anyway, I mean, you can't go wrong with this. I mean, look at that. That's Conan like you haven't seen since the day of John Buscema, or Ernie Chan, or Barry White. It figures. Here's another thing that comes to mind. Titan Comics, the company who puts these books out, they're based in England. Why can't they ask Barry Smith to do an issue or two? I'd love to see Barry Smith do another Conan book. But anyway, Ivan Gill's no slouch himself, and I'm just amazed with these books. They're breathtakingly beautiful. The color, the glossiness, the printing, A plus. Next up is Creaky Acres. I found this to be very, very interesting. I'm not due up on my equestrian skills. I do have twin aunts who used to be horse riders. I never got far beyond on other than a pony ride. So, but this is an excerpt for an upcoming graphic novel published by Penguin Random House, and I guess this there's an offshoot imprint called Coquilla. Okay, I hope I got that right. Anyway, it's a simple story. A girl and her horse are being forced to move to a rural area outside of town because their mom has got a high-paying job and their dad wants to become a farmer. So they move out to a more spacious place, but she's it's just having the pangs of moving away from all your friends and starting over somewhere, and it's a poor little slice of life story, and some beautiful artwork in it, and I thought this was a grabber was some grooming tips on how to care for your horse. I thought this was very interesting, and I think that maybe when I'm done with this, I know one of my aunts is still involved with horses, So she lives in Sacramento now, and I'll probably maybe I'll just when the reviews are done with these, I'm done with these reviews, and I'll probably send it up to her. So I thought it was a beautiful book. Okay, so up here, and here's a book. Listen, I just keep in mind you hate if there's something you vehemently hate about any of these books. Don't take it out on the people here. They gave you the companies or the talent themselves. You're getting a free product. And the only major complaint you should have is that you won't get the 10 minutes it takes to read these things back from your life. But I had a big problem with this book. Though it's beautifully made, illustrations and everything. Free comic book day is supposed to be for all ages. People of all ages, children especially, are supposed to be influenced to pick up books to help them read, grow comprehension skills and whatnot. A book like this, though, however, co-written by one of the Def Leppard member of the band, and this book should have a warning label on that it's not appropriate for children, because you can ask mom and daddy. Your little kid asks your mom or your dad to read this book at bedtime. Your dad's gonna have to substitute some words for the colorful language that's in this book. There's F you, there's a-hole that, and I don't think that that's gonna fly well with some parents. But regardless, this is a comic book based on a rock group. It's been going on for 30 years now that people have been doing books based on music acts and their concept albums. Even I got on the bandwagon. I tried to submit a proposal for a 4-issue series based on Genesis Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Me and a lawyer and a manager took it over to the manager of Genesis himself, after hearing an interview that Tony Banks would have wanted to see, the keyboard player Tony Banks would have wanted to see a comic book adaptation based on The Lamb Lies Down Broadway. I could cotton one up, and we proposed it to the Genesis manager, Tony Smith Stratton, and he just knocked it down. Says no effing way. We even got artists to do some concept sketches and stuff, and still it was not enough to win him over. So keep in mind, I've had some friends in the industry who have done comic books based on music acts, and some have won awards for it. Take Rance Hosley, for example. He runs F2 Comics, and they specialize in this type of thing of blending music acts with concept albums. And I think he won an Eisner for doing one on Miles Davis. And he's good friends with Tori Amos and such. And the books are beautiful. Even the Ronnie James Dio one he did based on the famous Black Sabbath singer. My friend J. Allen Sanford was one of those pioneers of revolutionary comics, which did unauthorized biography comics. And he did like 80 issues of that before he just locked shop and switched his genre to porn star comic books. So there you have it. The story, and here's another thing I had a problem with the story. What does this story have to do with Def Leppard? It's basically some throwback to Richie Havens when he died in a plane crash. I don't know, but and something about a heavy metal, some guitar having some magical powers and stuff. But there's no mention of any of the band in it, and I wonder what's up with this. And I hope it gets cleared up when the graphic novel comes out. let's see what happens. There's the graphic novel. Also, if you scan the code, you can pre-order the book. And there's another thing. There's some edition that's like they want $500 for. Holy cow! Next up here is Diablo. This is from Titan Comics, also the publishers of Conan comics, and it's sort of a comic book version of another Conan book. It's written in black and white, and it's got some. I guess the concept is a group of barbarians that get together to rescue a prophet of some sort before he is taken in by demons from another world, and people are not really sure if this prophet is for real or he's a false prophet, and the work is in black and white, except there are some color designs here, and writer Colin Bunn supplies the back pages with some samples how a comic book script should go, current day comic book script, and also how the page would look in simple rough pencils, inks, and finally lettering and such. So you get a little lesson for your toolbox there. So that was worth picking up. This next one was a blast. Dr. Seuss's graphic novels, and that's as rendered by famous alternative cartoonists. Like the first one is by James Kolchalka, which I've seen over the years, and this, geez, Art Baldassar did this Cat in the Hat one. Is that technically 4 books he's involved with? Oh, no. This is the third one. Yeah, this book, Flash Gordon and the Superman one. So, and the other artist is, I can't pronounce her first name, but I do know her last name is Van Dorn. And I hope kids will enjoy this. They looked fun, a lot of fun. If I was a kid, I sure would want them. The next one, probably one of the biggest best-selling books in Diamond, is the Energon universe, and it's a universe consisting of G.I. Joe and Transformer characters meshed together. It's the talk of the town as being the subject of the next Transformers movie. G.I. Joe merging with the Transformers, and this book is it's divided into 3 parts. You got a G.I. Joe story by Joshua Williams, a Transformers story written and drawn by Daryl Warren Johnson, and the third final story is from an excerpt from or a prelude from probably the Image's best-selling comic right now, and that is Void Rivals, which is I guess Robert Kirkman's I guess he developed a whole alternative universe of Transformer characters. Anyway, I had a pleasure of running into Robert Kirkland 2 years ago while the strike was happening, during the time when that Spider-Man multiverse movie was playing, and I was over at Sherman Oaks Galleria checking out, and I happened to run into him on the way over there, and I go, "You Robert Kirkman?" I go, "Yeah, I thought you were based out in in Alabama or some sort." And he was out here doing some work with AMC or something like that. And I told him I was involved with the strikes. I was a site commander over Studio City, and we talked a little bit. And he told me he just saw the movie. He said, "I hope you enjoy it. It's a really well-made movie," and he seemed like to be a nice guy. All right, so another book I have a big issue with. Just a few pages in the book. Fantastic Four, just in time for the movie coming out in July. These are the Whet the Appetites. The movie looks really good. You happen to see the Thunderbolts movie, you would have your first glimpse of the Fantastic Four. In what shape or form or know how, I am not at liberty to say, but I don't want to blow things for people. So here's this is the Fantastic Four story. It is written by Ryan North, who will be writing the new #1 Fantastic Four. Same writer as the old writer, but the writer is the same, but the artist is different. Whose name is Herberto Ramos. He's taking over the art chores in the title. So they had to relaunch as a #1. I don't know why, but I'm not the editor of Marvel Comics. Here's what the problem I have. So this is basically a story of aliens playing pranks on the Fantastic Four to rescue them from non-emergencies. And of course, when they answer the call, you get Johnny Storm with a caterpillar mustache on his face, which is the most obscene thing I ever seen on any Marvel character. I mean, what is going through Ryan North's mind when he came up with this? It's really, really pathetic and embarrassing, and they need to take this off. This is not acceptable. This is nonsense. Anyway, other than that small, big, crawling caveat, I am besides myself. Here's the cover to the first issue. The second story, written by the team of these guys who work as a duo, Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. I heard they're two high school buddies who've been collaborating on comic books for a very, very long time. And they're doing some 5 one-shots featuring, I guess, outtakes from the big giant size X-Men #1. And they write the first story. It's just like an outtake of Cyclops training the new team to rescue the old team from the island of Krakoa. And this is a surprise at the end, and I'm not going to blow it for you. The next story is two cosplayers from another universe cosplaying as Lady Pool and Wolverine. They're trying to be popular. They want to be appear in a debut in a #1 comic other than a free comic book a day edition, which I think they say is beneath them. It's okay. It's written by Chip Zdarsky, who's also known for writing funny stuff like Robot Chicken and things like that. And there's a funny payoff line at the end. So I'm gonna give this book a B- because of that nonsense. You can see the stupid caterpillar mustache to his flame, for Christ's sakes. Come on. My God, why is Marvel allowing this? Anyway, onward and on forth. And so Gargoyles Demona is a throwback to the old 1997 TV series created by Greg Weisman, who happens to be the writer of all these titles that Diamond is putting out, and they happen to be fantastic, phenomenal, big sellers for them, with the exception of Space Ghost, which I think is their biggest selling book right now. But this one's a mini-series going to be dedicated to the popular villainess of the series, the renegade gargoyle, so to speak. And the big kicker to this book is that it's also illustrated by Frank Parr, who was a director on the Gargoyle series, along with Greg Weisman, the original writer. And Frank Parr, you probably know him from other series like X-Men Evolution, Batman the Animated Series, and I think Avengers he worked on too. Anyway, it was a great read. Some eye-catching artwork by him, and there's a big surprise at the end, which I'm not going to reveal because I don't think I think I will get in trouble from people if I told them the big thing that's going to happen at the end of this series. They the book is not even halfway through with the original content, and they just shoved a whole bunch of old ads you've seen in years previous from old Dynamite comics. I mean, there could have been. I mean, gee, well, I would want to read a Hercules story. Anyway, or Darkwing Duck's story. Last year they did. I was really blown away by a Maleficent book that they did with a Disney character. That was a really well done book. I think it was Ryan Sook did the artwork on that. Okay, last book of the week I'm covering is Godzilla: The New Heroes from IDW Publishing, and I see they debuted their condom wrap logo up there. So this is a comic book with 3 different iterations of Godzilla. Godzilla in present day San Diego. Tim Seeley is concocted this super team to take on Godzilla. And we'll see how that works out. Tim Seeley, I know from reading pages of recent heavy metal magazines. There's a second story, and here's the second book called Escape the Dead Zone. I would assume it's a Godzilla in prehistoric times or future times with, filled with mutants and such. There's a sample of the artwork right there of a big splash page. And the third one is called Starship Godzilla, which is Godzilla in space. Godzilla is a spaceship, or Godzilla is some kind of metal. I don't know, some metal starship inspired by Star Wars. Well, so there you have it. Oh, and some character sketches there. So there you have it. Interesting week. It's full of highs and lows. And be back next week. Here's a blog I'll be posting today. I'm going to do this theme throughout the entire 5-part series. I'm just going to put the books, line up against my toaster, and hope for the best. So there you have it. Be back next week for I'm going to be doing titles from Gundam and through Keen Spot. So have a great day. See you next week. Bye.